Hello class, welcome to week 4. You've made it this far. We're almost there at the end of this course, so I'm hoping that you all keep some energy going, keep the momentum going through this week as well as next week. Next week you'll start to work on your final papers. You should have gotten your scores for your week 2 assignment by yesterday. I do apologize for those of you who did receive your exams or your papers late yesterday. Like many of you, I've been battling that flu that's been going around, and it did lay me up for a little bit over the weekend. So again, I apologize for the late scoring of some of your papers. Probably 4 of you got your papers late yesterday. With that, this coming week, today in fact actually, we have the President's State of the Union address. I encourage all of you to watch it live today. If not, you do know you can look at it somehow on YouTube or any of the number of social media websites. I think NPR.org is also going to have a recording of it, so those of you that aren't unable to watch it live tonight, catch it online somewhere, or catch the transcript. In fact, the transcript is always interesting to read in case you miss anything while you're watching it live. For this week, I kind of want to have you focus on the President's executive orders. Now, harken back to our week 1 where we talked about separation of powers, we learned that the President doesn't actually legislate or create law. That's the role of the legislature, Congress. But there are some creative ways that the President can get around when Congress doesn't legislate according to some of the priorities and policies that the President is interested in getting into law. So when you watch the Presidential State of the Union address, look for him talking about creative ways specifically. Use that as a quote. Creative ways around congressional inertia, the inability of Congress to legislate according to what the President's priorities are. And kind of think about how the President is able to do that, given the fact that legislating is part of Congress's power. And think about whether or not judicial review should be part of this, whether or not there is any unconstitutional acts or executive orders that the President may be pushing forward. With that, I've also linked in this video announcement an NPR.org interview that was done, I think, yesterday. The host of Morning Edition interviewed the presidential advisor John Podesta, who was a former advisor to President Clinton. And in that interview, it's a very short interview, so take the time to listen to it. They do talk about executive orders, and specifically the executive order that President Obama is going to be executing soon, which is raising the minimum wage. So take a look at that interview. It's an interesting supplement to some of the topics that we've been talking about since week 1, and ties in very nicely to the State of the Union address, which is happening tonight. So just a little bit of a debrief on your week 2 assignments. All the effort that you put into it, it was very evident. I appreciate all the time that you all put into them. But a couple pointers to keep in mind, and some of these are repetitious from what I've been telling you for the past few weeks. Please look at the call of the question very carefully. When I say the call of the question, read carefully what the question is asking you to talk about. One of the key things that some of our colleagues missed was this paper was supposed to be about federalism, and some students unfortunately just talked about a federal issue. So certainly a federal issue is part of the analysis of the assignment, but what we're looking for is some discussion about federalism. Remember the conflict between the federal, state, and local governments. One good example is some students talked about the minimum drinking age of 21, which is certainly implies a federalism issue, but the federalism issue should have gone beyond just talking about the minimum drinking age and efforts to lower it. It should have also talked about how the federal government used as a carrot, if you will, funding for highway construction. So certainly look at the call of the question when you're looking at your final paper. take a look at the grading rubric so that you can see exactly what I'm going to be grading you on. And again, that's by what the university's curriculum demands, not my own requirements. And cite to your sources. A few papers were just so wonderfully written. Unfortunately, they lack the citations to authority to give the premises being purported any academic credibility. So certainly please make special efforts to cite to your authorities, and also, last but not least, cite in proper APA format. APA format seems to still be a struggle for some of our colleagues in this course, and unfortunately higher scores were prevented because they did not cite in proper APA format. With that, if any of you did not submit your assignments for week 2, please email me so that if you have any extenuating circumstances, we can maybe try and work around the late submissions. But as a general matter, I expect all students to submit on time. The posting due dates for your written assignments as well as discussions are listed in our online classroom. And be very wary that even when you do have to submit late for extenuating circumstances, you don't want to put yourself too far behind in the course. Certainly we're in the last 2 weeks of this class, and if you are going to somehow try and submit late assignments from our prior weeks, that's not setting yourself up very well for the last 2 weeks, which are going to be pretty intensive, as you've already seen in these past 3 weeks. And we want to make sure that you end strong in this course. If anything, I'll be available through email. I check my email every week. If you have any questions about what's said during the State of the Union address of this week, please certainly bring it up in class, and I'd be happy to engage in a discussion with that. I hope you have a good time this week, and I'll talk to you soon.